So, like, when you're in the green room and you're talking to your buddy who's, we're just having a discussion before we go live to air, and we're talking away, and we are so engaged in the conversation that it's like you look up at the clock and it's saying countdown 10, 9. I'm like, holy crap, we're going to be live in 10 seconds. Shut up. Like, it was so classic on how things happen in our discussions. We
It
do it
was
every single
another,
Tuesday night, man.
what I've come to now call another golden moment in the golden relationship. You called me, and we had 18 minutes, and I, like you, I'm like, okay, we got 18 minutes. We got this. We just started down a path, and then you were like, holy crap. Well,
Oh my god, that was close.
holy
That was really, really
crap.
close. Imagine we just put a push live and it would have been inside the green room and hearing us battle back and forth. That's classic. My friend, thank you for being here on another Tuesday night. It is amazing to have you here. We are at episode 94. We are close to the big 100. We thank you, the listener, the viewer, wherever you're watching. Thank you for being here and all of the support you've given us, all the love. I can't thank you enough. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. We love doing this, so I want to really give you a shout out. And if you're here live, let us know. Hashtag live. If you're here on the replay, hashtag replay. Let us know where you are in the world, or just say hi. Just love to communicate with you. Thank you for being here on Marketing Made Easy Tuesdays. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Man, woo. I had an exciting day today or this week. I know you have too. It's always exciting. And this one is a discussion around courses and marketing and what happens when the course doesn't sell and the program doesn't sell. And we've been in this situation ourselves a few times, or at least I know I have. I don't want to put words in your mouth. And the reason I just decided let's talk about this is because my whole week has been engaged in these conversations on chats, in threads, in our Facebook group, in emails, back and forth. And I just figured, hey, this might be the universe talking to me to say, let's talk about this and get it out into the world. So that's the topic of discussion, bro. What happens when your course doesn't sell? What do you do? What's next? Hey, Collie. Good to see you here. Monica's here, as always, our in-house artist. What do we call her?
I think she's an artiste.
Yeah.
She's not an artist, and I don't care what the definition is. Artiste is more Monica-esque than artist.
I think so too.
She's both one and the same.
Yeah. Thank you for doing those every Tuesday. She comes up with these amazing graphics and puts them into the group. So love you for that. Love you. Thank you. Love you all. Thank you for being here. If you got a question around your course and why it's why it's not selling or anything related to that or anything in marketing, let us know. But we're talking today about when the course doesn't sell. What do you do? What happens? And why didn't it sell? So who knows where this is going to go? I'll open up the floor to you, Scott.
We kind of have to examine, okay, why did the course fail and what's next? Is a forensic investigation of, sounds like a Robin Williams thing. We investigate the origin of the joke. I was inside the actor's studio. It was amazing what he went through. Anyway, where did it fail? It's a forensic investigation into going back in. Okay, we're going to say dream client again. Have you identified the right person? You could have your stuff, your course could be amazing and excellent, but who's the one that's supposed to consume it? That would be the first forensic investigation of it. Is the person that you tried to sell it to the exact dream client for the content, the stuff, the teaching, the course, whatever it's supposed to deliver? Do they have the problem, and are they going to get the result, solution, benefit, advantage of what this course is about? And if they don't fit those two things, then I don't care what. It goes to the simple selling ice to an Eskimo.
Right.
They could care less. So that goes to the dream client, and how are you getting them, which is always other conversations in the dream client connection conundrum. course calculation. Just had to get another C in there with a hard C. Then it has to be, okay, did you deliver what you promised on? And was it easy for them to consume? Was it easy for them to consume?
Well, we can't even go there, Scott, because it hasn't sold yet.
Well, but I'm saying is, has somebody looked at it with an eye that says, yeah, I could easily consume that quickly and get a result fairly quickly? I don't care what it is. No, when you promise something, if you say it's going to take this period of time, then what are the steps I need to do it in that time frame that was promised? A lot of courses I see are they're kind of willy-nilly-ish.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really help you as a learner to go through. And you'll pay. Are you showing 30-minute videos and expecting people to retain it? How is the information? How is it delivered?
But again, you're still on the inside of the course.
Right.
So we're not talking about that. It hasn't sold. It's on the outside. Like, why didn't the thing sell? That's what we're focusing on.
Okay, I'm going to then just go back to it goes back to the Dan Kennedy, the right message to the right market with the right medium.
Right.
So
yeah.
We'll get out of the course and go up and look at it and say the course didn't sell because you didn't have the dream client who had the problem, pain, or aspiration that you can deliver and wanted the end result. You didn't connect that to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's always about that. It always comes back to that. Yeah. It's like it's the audience or it's the offer, and sometimes both. But what does that really mean? And so, like I told you, my week has been busy because it's been in these conversations of how do I sell the course and what happens if it's not selling or all these other things. So there's two things, like, my world, what I do is, if somebody came to me and said they wanted to do a course, that's the perfect scenario because they haven't built the thing yet. So it's easier to sell the thing when it's not built than it is being built. At least in my world, that's what I believe and what I can help people do. At the same time, I have a lot of people who come to me with courses that are already built that did not sell. And then I got to fix the problem. And the problem and the solution is back to, okay, who's the dream client? And those conversations usually go, which even happened an hour before this call, this is for everybody. And this was this one thing I'm thinking of was in a weight loss niche. And here's the thing. And I forget what the thing was that they do, deficiency of some kind or whatever it was. And I'm like, that's great, but that's weight loss. And it's like, it's more of who's it for? Who do you serve? 20 to 60-year-olds. Like, that's fantastic, but they all have different things going on with weight loss. You know what I mean? And if you're not speaking to that audience in a certain way, I don't care that the whole thing works for 20 to 60-year-olds, but you can't speak to 20 and 60-year-olds at the same time, because a 60-year-old walking up the stairs because they're, and they run out of breath, and that's why they want to lose weight, is different than a 20-year-old who wants to, lose weight to whatever, get back to a bikini body or something like that. Right? It's about that thing. What do you think?
Well, as you saw, Bob Michaels appeared quickly.
Oh, I didn't see it. I was looking at the camera thingy up here.
Here, let me do it again. It was just a short cameo of Bob Michaels.
Oh yeah.
Yes, everybody in any online entrepreneur, any business that wants to market their business can use my software.
Right.
But Bob Michaels is the one that I know is the dream client to use software and buy my products and my training and my courses and anything I do. Well, why would I waste my time on anybody else?
Well, okay, but I'm going to come. That's a good question. Here's the debate. Well, then what happens to the other people? Why can't I sell it to all those other people? Right.
You can sell it to all those other people. But first, if I watch you successfully doing something with somebody I know, or somebody that reminds me of somebody, hey, this dude or dudette is helping these people. I know people like that she could help, or I'm kind of like them in the same situation. They just happen to be a little bigger, smaller, older, younger, gendered. but the problem and the solution are still there. In the beginning, it has to be the dream client in its smallest, the nucleus. It's like the 135-mile radius of direct response marketing. You don't send a postcard out 20 miles. You find out who's within 1 mile of the epicenter.
Yeah.
The same thing here. Who's the most likely person to buy in that age group, in that demographic, psychographic, and then what is their dream world like, and what exactly do they need that only you can do for them?
Yeah,
Then
it's about the destination. This is where the whole avatar thing, and I taught this for years because I didn't know. It's not that I didn't know any better. It was just that it didn't go deep as now that I go deep inside the dream client areas. And it is about situations, like, but this is where it's limited on the stuff that's taught. And I agree that if you're speaking to 20-year-olds and they're all in the situation, they all get it. That's cool. However, there's people in in different situations. They're not all in the same situation, but the destination is the same. That's the key. The oasis is the same. And that's what I'm saying to anybody listening to this is that, well, if you're in this weight loss example, like 20 to 60-year-olds, okay, maybe they're all in the same situation, which is I got to lose weight. Okay, whatever. But the destination is different. The destination is different. So if you speak to 60-year-olds who need to lose weight because they get out of breath and can't get up the stairs or something, right? And that's the destination. That's where they want to be. They want to be more healthy to go up the stairs without losing their breath. Okay, lose more weight. If you have all of that on a landing page or a sales page and said, if you're 60 years old and you want this, what do you think a 20-year-old is going to do when they read that?
they're not going to go anywhere near it.
They're going to bounce. But
Well,
wait a second.
it goes to
Down the paragraph, it says, or if you're 20 years old, this is what it'll do for you. Or if you're 35 and you just had a baby and you've lost the person. Like within the 3 seconds, if you're not speaking to the person, you've lost them. I don't care how much is on the page that does speak to everybody. You've lost them.
no matter who you are or what situation you're in, we can help you.
Yeah.
And anyone's going to look at that and say, "Bull crap! You don't know me. You don't know my situation."
Right. That's another big one because you're right. If you say, I'm glad you brought that up because it's so perfect that that's what somebody would say. Well, yeah, you can help everybody, but my situation is different. I'm unique. So I'll let you continue. I'm not going to steal your thunder because this is amazing.
No, go on, run with it for a minute. I want to hear what you got.
Well, I mean that's the whole point of why we're talking about dream clients and understanding them better than they understand themselves and getting into their mindset so that they they know that you know them better than they do by explaining their situation better because they can't verbalize it. They think they're different, which they probably are, but when you come in and say, "Look, I understand your situation and have you ever felt this or these other things?" and they're like, "Holy crap." Like, yeah, Scott, I really do. Like you're giving them a realization that is in their subconscious or something that they've never verbalized. And that is what sells. That right there is like, holy crap, you know my situation more than anybody else has. That is the difference between just a marketing message that says you're going to lose weight or whatever in 30 days, as opposed to you're going to lose weight and I'm making this up, you know, have have a respiratory system back to the way it was when you were 20 or whatever it is. Like you go deeper into the situation that says, yes, that's what I want. Or you explain the problem even better than them. Right. And I always come back to that stupid example that I always give, but it works, which is when you go to the doctor and you say, "Hey dude, my arm really hurts." And it's even worse when I go to sleep. And the doctor says, "Oh, I get it." And when you go to sleep, does the pain automatically all go down your leg too? And your toes start to tingle? And you're like, yeah, right away. You know that doctor knows what the situation is. And when he says, "Well, go get that thing," you're like, okay, I'll go buy that medicine because he's explained it or she's explained it better than you did.
That's beautiful. And that's so spot on because as copywriters and marketers, and I'll look at the greats who would not write a lick of copy. I like this. I don't remember who it was, but like the Gary Bensavengas, who would not write a lick of copy for at least 6 months. They had to so know their avatar, their dream client, better than they did. That's what I always say to any time I work with a client. I'm not going to write your copy in a week or two. It's going to take me a few months. I've got to understand what you do better than you do, and I have to understand your clients better than they understand it for me to then be able to communicate it, which goes to copy bank and write marketing copy and going out and getting that languaging and learning what the languaging is that people are thinking, feeling, experiencing, that you can give it to that. It's not like, imagine losing all the weight and climbing the mountains in Tibet. You'd be like, climbing mountains, what are you, nuts?
Right, right.
I want to hang out on a beach and surf.
Yeah, and well, even look, if you take that analogy or that example, let's go back to the older woman, or she has some grandchildren or something, and she wants to lose weight, and you're saying, imagine, like, if you said to that market and said, like, imagine losing weight and feeling better, like that's just a general statement, but imagine if you said, imagine losing weight and you can actually pick up your grandchildren again without losing your breath,
Mhm.
like that speaks to that audience. Like, holy crap, that's what I want. I don't want to lose my breath playing with my grandchildren. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a completely different debate and an argument on that page that says this is for you. And the thing that they're selling is just the thing. Like, nobody wants the weight loss program, nobody wants the pill and whatever. I don't care what you call it. It's they want the destination. And
Right.
if you get the destination right to the right audience, easy sell.
Yeah. Yeah. Solution, benefit, advantage, future state, the ultimate goal, whatever you want to call it. And what did you call it? What's your we
Oh, the Oasis, the Dream Island and the Oasis, yeah.
the destination, the oasis. Again, it's what they want. It's what in life they're like, God, I wish I had this at this point in my life right now. And you're the one that can get it to me. And I don't need to. I'm going to talk to the avatar, the dream client that way. Anybody reading that copy is going to say, I want that too.
Yeah, the destination is like 1,000 times more important than the avatar audience thingy that all have the same situation. That's important. I don't wanna get away from it, but if you're focused only on that, that's a problem. But I wanna come back to a couple other things to open up here because I wanna talk about, like, what do we do? What's the solution? What's the fix? And Kay says, she says, if effective marketing is based on the customer's language, how can you possibly be effective? Is based okay. How can you possibly be effective if your audience is broad and everyone, right? How can you include the language of everyone in your marketing, right? That's exactly right. You can't speak to everyone because you're going to lose them.
It's not possible in marketing, copywriting, and
Yep.
selling your stuff unless you know who you're talking to. And I would talk to you one way, and I talk to Karen another way, and Aaron another way, and everybody I talk to in a different way based on the relationship that I have with them and what's going to be best for them that I'm talking to them about.
Yeah. Coley says, that is how I got here. You explained it better than anyone else. Thank you. And help me chunk it down. Focus. And this was all gained through your integrity, honesty, and heart. Thank you, Coley. That's a lot.
Wow,
That means a lot.
pretty awesome there, Joey.
Thank you.
Hey, put that back up, please.
Sure.
You explained it better than anyone else and helped me to chunk down, focus. And this was all gained through your integrity, honesty, and heart. Okay, I just needed to hear that again. I wanted you to hear it again, actually.
Thank you.
But that's great because we were kind of leave that for a second, Joey. You had asked me before the call when we were chatting and almost missed the 15 seconds to get the 10-second thingy ready, was why do I do what I do? And I'm reading here exactly why it is that you do what you do, because your integrity, honesty, and heart is enabling you to explain it better than anyone else. And you watch people benefit from what you do. And I, you know, that's
appreciate that.
yeah. Okay.
Well, okay, so let's bounce to like the now what? What, I'm sure we have different ways of fixing the problem. We talked about what we think is one of the biggest problems, but if somebody came to you and their course was broken, was
Right.
selling, like what's the fix? Like what do you help them do?
The first thing I would do is I would have them do something, or I would do it for or with them, and I would go out and find who they thought was this person who this course could help, and I would contact them, and I would get on a call, I'd get on a Zoom with them, and I would say, I got this thingy that does this and that. Would you give me your opinion of it?
Okay.
And I guerrilla market that stuff. I want to get on with people. It's kind of like what I did on the call today. Should I put together this program and deliver it? Is it something you would be interested in? And they're like, yeah, okay, well, and we could talk about that later or another time about we both had some different opinions on how on a live call today, a training that was just a training, that an idea hit me in the kind of right before the training in yoga, that I was going to potentially turn this into a course, when the creator, amazing, blew me away with his content, he was just going to deliver that and really didn't have anything. He just wanted to give some value. And I was like, well, wait a second, this thing is a course. And I asked, would you be interested in us developing this course? And you came up with a different way to frame it. And I'm going to test that in 2 weeks on another call, because I'll be doing the same thing for this program. But it was about looking at how do we talk to the market, the people.
Well, I mean, we can talk about that if you want to, because I think it'll help
Let's do
everybody.
it. You want me to give a quick synopsis of?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Today we had a video creation training, and one of our video creation specialists on the team, he did a presentation. He blew me away Saturday. He showed me how to use PowerPoint to make your own custom images, graphics, and even your own videos, and do some unbelievably, amazingly cool effects that you could take and use in PowerPoint, or take and put in any other video creation program out there, because the export is JPEGs, PNGs, MP4s, whatever, MP3s that go into exactly what you need. And I had a thought was, there is so much here, you should do a course. Joey thinking in my head. And I was like, we're not doing a landing page and a VSL and a sales letter and sequences. If we decide to do this, I'm going to take a landing page that I've already written for a program. I'm going to kind of plug and play it and totally tweak it. But since I wrote all the copy for a course that teaches people how to do something, now I'm going to write a Google Doc for a course that teaches people to do something. And I, on the call, said, we're thinking of doing this. What do you think it's worth? And here's where you and I disagreed. We'll see. I said, do you think it's worth $297, $397, or $497? And I answers. And then I said, what do you think you should pay for it as one of our founders or a member or being on this call? Just want ideas from you. And guy was like, well, $297 is what you should charge, and then $97. And then I asked him, I said, okay, should I spend the time? Should I invest the time with this fellow to put together this outline, this way to what this program's going to be about? And it would just, everyone was yes, definitely, yes, definitely. Now, numbers wise, there was no offer made, because the thought came to me right before the call and put it together while he was talking. I'm doing another training in 2 weeks for something else, but I can continue to communicate with them, and I will put together this thing. And not sure how yet I'm going to frame it or play with it, because I could easily just do it for the $297.97. Say, look, we're going to sell it. And then, of course, I get on with Joey earlier, and he's like, wait, the thing's worth $497. And I'm like, yeah, Scott, you should listen to your own advice.
Well, it's not about the pricing. Let's go back to like what I disagree with. It's not that I disagree that Scott's wrong. And this is because it's a great thing that you bring up, because this is what I see a lot. And it's when and I'll say you, if I say I'm you, I'm not pointing at you, Scott, or
bring it on, Joey.
I'm just saying stuff out loud. So it's when we
Whatever you shovel out, you're going to get it back double. So
when
don't
when
worry
we
about it.
when we ask the audience, and I've seen this so many times, they're like, well, the course didn't sell, and I even went to my audience and my email and I said, would you want this? And they said yes, and blah blah blah, exactly what you did, and then the course doesn't sell. And I've done it as well. And that's the problem, is that we're seeding. People are just nice. General people are nice. They don't want to hurt our feelings. So they're going to say, "Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. That I totally get that. That's what I want to buy, right?" But when it comes down to taking the wallet out, everything changes, which is the reason why I created Atlas, which is like, "Hey, wait a minute. I've got this idea already. Like I've already got the idea based on the assumptions, because everything is an assumption when we're doing it." And I send it to the audience and I go, hey, listen, I'm doing this thing, whatever, to help you do this other thing. Would you, do you want to know more details? And then they go to the, in my case, to the Google Doc, and they read the thing and they either say, I'm in or not. And that indicator is telling me I got it right or I got it wrong. I don't ask the audience first and say, hey, I'm going to, do you think I should go do this? Yes. Do you think I should, what do you think I should pay you? It should be, and they give me a price, and then try to go sell it. I believe, and you said you're going to test this, that the next time is you do the thing, the presentation or whatever, and then you go to that audience and you say, crazy thought. We're thinking of doing that. We're actually going to do this beta thingy on how to create better graphics with PowerPoint. And would you like to know more details? And the people are going to come back and say yes. And you send them to Google Doc or your sales page or whatever. And you can put the price up for whatever reason. I think we're going to test the price as well. But I think you're going to make more money doing it that way rather than asking the audience. Because this is what I see every day, that people say, I asked my audience, I did all this, and they told me they're going to buy, and they don't buy. And I'm like, that's the biggest mistake you could make, because you ask the audience. Now, I want to go to one other thing about the pricing. When I did my very first product, Scott, um, the first product was crazy. It was like $47. It was like, I don't, anyway, I'm not going to even go there. But the second time I released that, I went to my list and I said, hey, listen, I've got this product. What do you think it's worth? That's how I asked it. And I thought they were going to say 197 bucks. They all came back basically with 397. So I would have screwed myself out of that $200 had I asked, said, I'm thinking of 297. Like, what do you think? Right. And then that's how I got that product out based on the price. But anyway, that's not the point of this conversation. The point is, I believe that we should not ask the audience, and we should not seed them at all. And that's what's wrong with surveys. That's what's wrong with when you get on with clients or doing surveys on your market and you're asking them, so Scott, listen, you're having trouble with video. If I created a product that helped you make video really fast, would you be interested in that? Of course you're going to say yes. You're going to go, yeah, that'd be awesome. But that's seeding it. In other words, if I was on the call with you and I said, so Scott, you're having trouble with video, like, what do you think the solution is? And you'd be like, well, if there was a video that could make me do it in like seconds, that would be awesome. That's a different conversation.
I disagree with you still, but that's okay. We're not
It's
just
okay. I'm glad that you disagree, because I want to put this, I'm glad that we're doing it live, because when we do the test, and I'm okay even if
I
I'm
have to
wrong.
clarify something. In 2 weeks, I'm doing a different training on a different, that has nothing to do with this, but I will also have the same audience.
Oh, well, you didn't say that.
That's why I'm clarifying it now. I mean, I have this current audience from today who I asked their opinion, and I saw that, and they are all interested in having us create it, which we were going to do anyway, because to teach people who use PowerPoint some things that would take them like hundreds of hours to like never figure out how to do this amazing, cool stuff that people want to do with their PowerPoints or any other video using that tool that a certain percentage of people have in the dream client audience. And that's where that's going with me, is eventually this thing is not just within a small universe.
Yeah, okay.
And this is a beta, which again, so it's going to be a beta, and we're only going
Yeah,
to.
if you're going to do a true test with what we're talking about, it has to be to the same type of audience. like do the thing. They should, it's got to be a true test. That
Yeah.
the only change is how you present the offer or the idea at the end.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I will, to this audience that was on this call today, I know exactly who they all are. I will send something to them and maybe get them to, I'm not sure, the Google Doc that will have what this thing is. The rest of the list, to people that didn't show up or similar people who that
It doesn't matter. It's all good. Like the test has to be where I'm saying you don't seed what you're going to do, and you're saying no, that I disagree. Totally fine. And I'm saying and then you got the seed. So the people who you've already seeded and whatever, I don't care how you sell it or what you do with it. That's not the point. The point is that you have an audience. You taught them something. You said, "What do you guys think? Should I do this?" And they're like, "Yes, yes, yes." And I'm saying, "Okay, no." With this audience over here, you showed them something. Then you come to them after and say, holy crap, this kind of just hit me. We the engagement was amazing, and we're actually going to put a course together. Would you like more information on it? And I'm saying that that's going to convert better than those other people. That's what I'm saying. And you can even do it for more money, because I do this every day. That's how I fix people's problems.
I understand. Okay. I know who was on that call. I know my buyers, and I know who will buy.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, but that's also okay. But that's also, I don't know. Like, there's so many. There's other parameters in there. Like, if you have an audience that is going to buy anything that you say, that's not a test anyway. It's like the same thing as when I did, the first Atlas.
Here's what we're going to do, Joseph. We're going to not use this particular scenario as a test, just because there's so many different levels of what's going on now with the company and things that it just too many things are interrelated. Once I get past the next near future and get all things in line, we'll be able to do, let me see, okay, in 2 weeks, here we go. In 2 weeks, when I do the next training with a brand new set of characters that are coming out by one of our designers, a different one, I can make an offer in potentially.
It's not the same, Scott. It's in the same realm.
No, I'm saying for that one, we can do some kind
You
of.
can't. It's not the same thing, because it's like what you're doing now is in the PowerPoint is completely different than whatever you've done in the past with this audience. It's
Yeah.
always about characters and video and all this. And this thing came out and you're like, wait a minute, there's a niche here. Which, by the way, I wanted to bring up that everybody needs to hear
That's
this
an
as well.
important point. Yeah,
The
definitely.
niche discovery thing. Like,
Yeah.
you discovered a niche, and I always been saying that because I've been copying Evan Pagan since 2012, that he told me that. I'm like, okay, dude, that's great. A niche is always discovered, and you discovered a hot niche that I believe you're going to make money on it.
Oh yeah. Well,
right?
that no doubt about it, and I think we're gonna jump in there for a minute. We
Okay.
don't know the available opportunities. We have no clue what's out there, what's growing, what is ruminating, what's building because of something you may have done or not done, or a relationship you had, or a thing you did that you have no clue what it's doing out there. And this is where it is all about and comes to home. Was this is nowhere in the scope of our vision and what we're creating in the whole interrelating action. It was just one of the players that's become an integral part of it. When he came up with this and I watched it for an hour and a half,
Yeah.
it was like, holy crap. I have a course here that will sell for $497, and I know the dream client is going to be somebody whose job is to make PowerPoint videos for their company and have to make them look good. That's one potential. Not sure yet. Somebody's like, hey, I got to make your next video look amazing. Check this out. They'd be like, get it. I want my next presentation to the company, to the board, to the whatever, to not be boring dead PowerPoint, but be amazing. That this was not a thought in my head Saturday morning. I
Yeah.
didn't wake up and say, I'm going to create a product for people that use PowerPoint. I
Yeah,
don't.
that's my point. That's why
Yeah,
it's so you
that's
can't do the next one with there's a new character set. Let's see how it's going to run. It's not the same thing.
you're right.
It's not the same thing. It's the same thing as how right marketing copy came to be, right? Because it was not in my. I've always wanted to write a copywriting course, but like, well, whatever. They're all going to be the same. I'm going to be the same. What am I going to do differently? And then all of a sudden, the opportunity arose because of what I was doing with my own copy thing. It just happened to be, and that's exactly what I did. Hey guys, I don't know if you saw if you saw the original post was, I'm thinking of doing this thing. Do you want to get together for 3 hours so I can kind of show you what I'm doing? And 15 people said yes. And that was it. There was no, so what do you think I should charge for this? And like, there was nothing of that. It was just like, I got this idea. Would you like to join me? And that's the whole premise of it, to see there's no, I didn't waste any time putting anything together. And as you saw, you were in the first one. It was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Like,
Yeah, you didn't have any idea what you were doing, but Joey not having any idea what he's doing is about 1,000 light years ahead of a person who knows what they're doing.
Oh man, thanks.
Let me jump back here, Joey, into where we just were,
Sure.
because there's no way I could have sat and brainstormed that or whiteboarded it out or masterminded it out, because it wasn't a thing until it became a thing, and then to see if people are interested in, and this thing could turn into a membership where they just, who knows,
Yeah, right.
because
Exactly.
of a market. um, I wonder how many people use Microsoft 365 and PowerPoint.
Yeah.
I'm doing
So
it.
if you're listening to this, what we're doing is talking about, like how do you fix the problem when your course is, you created the course and it doesn't sell? And one of the biggest things is to go back to the basics and find and see if you're actually delivering the message to the right dream client. That's the main thing. And if your course is for everybody, it's not for everybody. And I understand that when you're listening to this, if it's you and you're like, no, you're wrong, Joey. I know I'm wrong, but you cannot market to everybody at one time. I'm not ever saying that you only have to market to one segment or audience for the rest of your life. What I'm saying is right now, you need to market to one person until that works for you, or you have enough money or and energy and resources to open up a whole other marketing channel, campaign thingy, and whatever to do the next audience. But if you want to fix the problem, make sure that you're speaking to one specific audience and focus only on that. And then it's focusing on the destination. It's not your product. Your product or our product, I'm not pointing any fingers, our product, all of us, the product is an obstacle. I've said that before. It's an obstacle for your client to get what they want. And our job is to make that obstacle as easy as possible for them to get through. And I'm not talking about lying about, hey, press this button, you're going to make $1 million tomorrow or lose 50 pounds. Like, the overpromise stuff that a lot of marketers do just to get the sale. I'm not saying that, but it is to make it easy for them. And to make it easy for them, which is another, I mean, that's a whole other level we can talk about. Why do we go higher price with higher dream clients than as opposed to the 90, the $47 clients who want the stuff, where the higher clients don't want stuff, they want the outcome. So if you could give it to them like you do on a piece of paper and get the outcome, they'll still pay $15,000 for
Yep.
it, right?
25 grand.
Yeah,
So,
25.
just for the sake of this interesting journey here with this newly created market that I had no clue, there happen to be companies around the world who in excess of 500 million PowerPoint users, and 30 million PowerPoint presentations are created each day around the world. There might be an opportunity TV there, I think, for that kind of training, in the level in which he does it at. For, here we go, those that are looking to use it as a tool to create their own unique graphics, video footage, because they do other things. I've just gone and sub-niched a niche within my niche of video creation. And it was all by accident starting 4 days ago. Only because of everything I've done for the last 15 months. And I couldn't just say, oh, well, maybe this will happen next week.
Yep. Kay says, I remember with the course that did not sell, Scott asked me, what type of woman entrepreneur is your client? And I couldn't answer that. But as I took Atlas, I came to realize that wasn't even my dream client. And I developed something radically different than a course geared toward entrepreneurs. Right. It just forces you. Thank you for that, Kay. It just forces you to figure out who the easiest person is for you to work with right now. So the course, if somebody came to me with a broken course, like we'll call it that, that's the first thing I ask them is helping them understand who is it that you're marketing to. And I can't say 100%, but 9.9% out of 10, 9.9 people out of 10, they're trying to market to everybody. And they're trying to convince a market. And I'm like, you can't convince a market anything. The market has to already have a desire for what you want. And you either haven't found the right people to talk to. Well, that's true. You haven't found the right people to talk to, or they aren't there. And you're trying to sell something that nobody in the market wants, which is very, very rare. But it always comes down to you're not speaking to the right people.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't convince people, even though you might be right. Because I don't know how many times you've heard it too, Scott, is like, if people only knew this, then they would buy my course.
No.
Right? I'm like, good luck with that.
You can't sell people anything.
Well, you could if you're a good salesperson, but then you get like buyer's remorse and all this other kind of stuff too, right?
Okay. From the premise of a lifetime value and relationship, and when people say, Joey, I want to hang out with you for the rest of my life because it's so cool. That's what I mean by you don't sell those people.
No.
No.
And so how would you fix it? Going back to like, what are the things that you would do to fix someone's product?
Oh, and now we're getting into product specific.
Yeah, like, so that's what this whole thing is about. Like, the course is broken. They come to you and say it's not selling. What do I do? How do I fix it?
Well, we identified that it is a viable program, that it does what it's supposed to do. Now we go out and find who's got the problem and the solution. We find the dream client and we talk to them.
So the solution is always about going to find the dream client, right?
If the product is sound and it's a great product, it's a piece of crap, I don't care if you have the.
How do you know if it's never sold before?
You have to talk to people who are in the space that you're considering going in and putting them through it in a beta.
Right.
Whether it's, again, we went through alpha beta to watch what people did, to get their feedback, to have them use it, serious users who would do it, that we could then say, this thing works. If you can't just put it out and say, I think this will be great for this audience.
Right.
And run Facebook ads to that audience and do whatever it is until you know exactly. You get on the phone, you get on a Zoom and you say, I've got this program that will do this, this, and this. Is this something that you would do? And I would like you said, will you join me in it? I'm going to get on and I'm going to spend a couple hours and I'm going to teach you all this stuff. Are you willing to get on it? Are you willing to implement it if it makes sense, and let me know exactly what you did and if it works for you?
Yeah.
And if it blows, you'll tell me it blows. And I'm okay with that, because that's where we have to get with my courses are not me. My courses are a product I created. We talked about that in the speaking world. I was the speaker presenter, and that's the skill set that I always need to hone it. I need to hone my products and everything we do. So don't take that personally. It's not about you they're rejecting. And it gives you an opportunity to let people say, because most people are like, well, my product's great. You can't tell me there's anything wrong with it. Well, that's, if I could think that if it's made me $1 million or 10 million or a lot of money, and people,
Right. Once it's proven.
I'm great. But if I say I got this great course now that I'm coming out with, it's like the best one I've ever done, and people are going to love it. It's going to make all kinds of money. Well, has anybody taken it or
Right. It's the gonna part. I love the where you use that word.
right?
People are gonna love it because they told me because I asked them in the email, "Would you buy this?" And they said yes,
Yeah,
but nobody's buying.
right. Again, Joey, it's kind of what I did today. In how it came about was, yeah, let's put a course together and see. We're not going to. I'm just going to put together the Google Doc and say you're interested in it at this price, and hey, there's a Black Friday thing. People are waiting for anything on Black Friday. Here you go. I might do a Black Friday if I have time. Who knows?
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't even do a Black Friday, bro. Here's the Black Friday. The Black Friday is that it's not a discount. It's more of a beta product for them. Here's what it is. It's $4.97. It's $5.97. You're gonna get in at this price, but don't frame it as a Black Friday thing.
Okay.
I'm telling you, man. Be different. Be different. You know,
Why 597 instead of 497 or 997? Why don't I just make it 997?
Are you going to sell it for $9.97?
Hell if I know. I just made it up.
Well, then that's the problem. If you're not going to sell it for $9.97, then you can't just make up a number.
I can make up any number I want. I have been for 15 months on 100 different products. I make up numbers every single time I do this, Uncle Joey.
All right. Well, I don't advocate that for anybody listening. What I do is I make up a number and say, here's what it's going to be, and I move to that number.
Okay.
Anyway,
Anyway, we digress from why didn't my course work? Why did it fail? Getting a lot into Joey and Scott tonight, but hey, it's on the agenda.
Well, what you said is basically what I would advise as well. It's always going back to the validation piece. And here's one of the problems is like, how do you validate that? How do you get to those people and what do you do? And you know all about what I do with Atlas, and it doesn't matter about how many people go into the Atlas programs. And there's standards out there where you have to have this many people in the betas, or you have to have this many people on your list in order to run a beta or whatever. And I'm saying, crap, no, you don't, right? And so that's where I take someone's. I mean, Kay, I think you were part of that whole switch that. Excuse me, the water's coming up. Switch that mindset, Kay. We don't need 100 people. I think is that right?
No, wait, let me jump in here for just a second because I do not advocate what I just said. Let me just clarify. When you've got like 6 pieces of software and you've created 100 products and you can just every other week launch something and play with it, when you've got that flexibility in a lot of things and you're playing with your market and offers and things and just learning your way and just throwing tests out left and right, okay. But not until you got that. I would not ever advocate or recommend you set this course is going to be, and I don't know what it is yet, but I'll let you know on the next call what the price of this course ultimately will be, and we'll work our way up to it. Exactly like you said. Just wanted to clarify that. You can get
good,
back.
yeah, because I mean, I see the BS out there. Like this is worth $30 million, but you're going to get it today for $3. Really? Okay. Or it's going to be 30 million. Really? Okay.
You remember the one that, and I won't share details. That was, it's worth all this and that. I was going to sell for $5,000, but I was worried that Stripe might shut me down.
Oh my God! Yeah. Don't even get me started there.
Well, I just again, no, and I think that's an important piece of. And I've always done that. This is going to be this much, and it ends up being this much.
Okay, that's fine. Then we're on the same page because I'm sure if you want to pull a number out of the air, I'm totally with that. You know me, like whatever. I'm scared when I throw out a number where Atlas is going to be, but I know, my clients know. They've seen it move up. That I'm not fooling around. Like they don't buy in at this price. They see the next price is higher. Then they see the next price is higher. Whatever. It's going to that where it's going to be.
Well, we did the same thing from day one, 15 months ago. And they know when I say, okay, we're launching this piece of software, you're a founder, you're in the community, you get a gift towards this, it's going to be this. But at this point in time, that's it. It's over.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. It's like as soon as my marketplace goes live with everything in it, fully live and out with the new piece of software and the launch, it's over, guys. The offers that we made, and they know that they will never again get that at that price. They just know we've trained them for 15 months to know you take advantage of it now. And I'm not using that as well, maybe I am using that as a bit of scarcity, but I know that they're going
Yeah,
to.
but it's good scarcity, Scott. There's good scarcity, and then there's the crappy scarcity, the
No, it is
bulldozer scarcity.
because I know that what we're helping them with is going to truly help them, and the value that we're delivering is better than anyone's going to pay, and they'll never see it again.
Yeah, and but that's what the alpha audiences are for. That's why that we're talking about how do you fix someone's problem when they've created this course and nobody's buying it. Well,
One word.
it's to me, it's all about repositioning it.
You
It's
said it one word, Joey.
what's
Alpha.
that?
You said it in one word, alpha.
Yeah, it's that core alpha audience that, okay, how am I going to do this? Who is it for? And here's the thing, like I've proven it again and again and again. So let's say like a 197 product, okay, that is for everybody. And they're like, it's not selling. And I go into this whole thing about dream clients and specificity and all that. And I get pushback on, no, it's going to help everybody and you're wrong. I'm like, what happens if so let me say you want to let's make up a number. What is it? $2,000. You want to sell 10 of these things and you want to make $2,000. Yeah, that'd be great. What happens if you sell one and you sell it for $2,000? Wouldn't it be easier to get one person as opposed to 10? Yeah. Well, then why don't we do that?
Yep.
Right. And it's always like that. It's always, I'm like, 10x your price and let's go after the one person and let's see if that works. Or let's get 2 people or 3 or 4 in it instead of 10 or 20 and 30. And let's validate that. Well, that's not enough for validation. I know it's not enough for validation, but guess what? We can do it all over again. And we can get now 8 people or another 4 that makes it 8. And so that number creeps up slowly because I know I'm not a mathematician, but I do know that 10 people going through a course doesn't validate. It's just like, hey, that's great. You need a little bit more in the data. But hey, why don't you just do it slowly and build and double and double and double? And you have people coming in that are in the previous ones that fill up the cohort anyway. That's how Atlas works. Why can't anybody do that?
You're talking a lot about information that's come from the book $100 Million Offers, because he talks about that in the beginning. You go out and you find
Well, we've learned from the same people.
Yeah, you go one. And by the way, his videos are on one browser here and one at home. That's how much I've been watching and enjoy it. And
Good,
he
man.
talked about that. It's amazing. And for anybody, it's Alex. I still have yet to pronounce his last
Hormozian.
name. What's that?
Alex Hormozian, I think it is.
Alex Hormozian. And what I love about what he does is he goes through his $100 million offers book, which was taking me forever to read. And then I ended up watching the videos that he put up for free. And he explains that whole piece eloquently. What I love about his presentation is he talks faster than I talk when I really get going. And you and I, if we got going, we'll talk really fast. But it's staccato, it's paced, and there's no crap, there's no fluff. You're getting everything in 12 to 16-minute videos.
Right.
And I'm constantly watching them because he talks about that, to go out and find a few people.
Yeah.
You can charge a bunch of money, have to deliver a lot on the back end until you can figure out, is it all working? And then you figure out how to spend less time, get more people at a lower price. Or however, whatever the deliverable is, by creating the deliverable or increasing the value and then having other people able to help you deliver that.
Yeah. The whole point of it is scaling back to getting out of the mindset of thinking that you need a whole bunch of people to now go and sell this product to. Or I've seen people who, well, what's the answer? My course won't sell, and all kinds of different debates on, well, you need to do Facebook ads, and you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm like, and I'm just cringing at it because I know what the solution is, and the solution is, look, because almost every single one of them, I've only really in the last, I'm only going to look at the last month data that's in my head. Only like one of them maybe two out of all the conversations, and there's been a lot, who had a good price. Like there's like I'm like, that's a pretty good price. Okay, that's cool. But all the rest of them were under $200. And there's nothing wrong with under $200. I'm not saying any of that. Don't get me wrong. But at this, what we're trying to do is fix the problem, rather than going out and spending for teams and all these things to do and put up a challenge and do all these other kind of things. Just take the course and reposition it to the right dream client, raise the price by 10x or 5x, and start there. And you're not doing anything different. All you're doing is nothing changes. The course doesn't change, right? I'm not, so please, everybody's listening to this. I'm not saying redo the course yet. You might have to do a couple of tweaks, but I'm not saying that. Just take the time to now write a different copy, whether that's a Google Doc or whatever you want to do, and speak to that audience and throw one or two people at that, and wait until they bite and say, is that right or is that wrong? No, rewrite the copy. Maybe you just haven't got that right person. So all you're doing is spending all that time and energy now, instead of more time, more money, throwing good money after bad into, am I speaking to the right audience? And if it's that one person, don't worry about it, because that one person there's more than that one. If you get one person to buy, then there's more than one. You just keep on focusing on that.
Mhm.
Right? Would you agree with that?
Totally, completely, 100%, which goes towards your whole dream client and finding them and going into places and helping people. Truly, where you get on a conversation with somebody who's experiencing this and you really want to help them and say, I have the way to help you. And it's in the form of this thing. And they're like, oh, yeah, I want that. I need that because for the 2,000, 3,000, 5, 10, whatever it is, because the value, the delivery. And like you said, well, then that's one person that you've spent some time with, gotten to know, and truly understand them better than they know themselves. And really, within an hour or so on a call, you can get to that level of understanding of a person. You do it all the time. We do it. It's just getting good at it and asking the right questions and listening to it and knowing what to ask and get to places that nobody's ever taken them to. That's the big thing, is most people won't take people to places because they're uncomfortable to take them to their level of discomfort. And
That's true. And they're trying to convert the call.
right, rather than truly get to the root depth of what's wrong, and it might not even be your solution. But if I can say, you know what, your best bet is to go join Atlas, because that's what's going to help. Or go join Dream Client Connection, or go write marketing copy that. Right now, you're not ready for even me to talk to you. I don't mean it from that standpoint.
Yeah, exactly.
It would make more sense for you to go that. And then it was like, I'll give you a quick example. There's somebody that's looking for a copywriter, that and this. And I went and looked at her site, and it was a Kajabi site. And I said, you should change your favicon to yours, not Kajabi's. And she was like, well, what's a favicon? And where do you do that? What do you suggest? I made a video. It took me a minute and a half. And I said, look, here's the favicon. Here's where it lives. If you'll notice that this is what it should look like. Like, here's mine. Here's what my favicon is. When I'm in Kajabi, here's Kajabi's. Go in here, go to settings. You can change that. And now you have your brand up there. That was it. It was just a quick, simple minute and a half for me to help somebody that had a problem, kind of sort of related, but it's all part of what I do. And to then start helping somebody in that regard that says, that was easy. They helped me real quick.
In regards to that too, like I told you before, before we got on the live, that this week has been a whole week filled of conversations of amazing humans that are just have a lot of things going on in their head, like a lot of systems and places and things that they want to do. They have the big universe already built. And I'm like, okay, where do you want to start? And it's always goes right back to the whole big thing. Here's the big picture. Here's the thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I try to get them really focused, and they're just not ready to take it in and listen. And I'm like, that's cool. And I remember one conversation from a 20-minute conversation turned into a longer one, which is fine. And there was no outcome. There was no like, well, how do I get him into Atlas? How do I get him into? It wasn't like that. It was at the end of the call. It was still. I ended the call and said, well, I have to go to my mastermind thing, but it was like, I really don't believe that there was that there was a result from this call, and I feel
Right.
really bad about this.
Yeah.
And I want to jump on after like in another hour after I get this. Would that be okay? And we did. But before we ended, the person said, "Well, how do I work with you?" Like that, and it was just out of the blue. Like,
Yeah.
what's the next step? And I'm like, well, I still, if I was gonna say it, like from where you are, you need Atlas.
Yeah.
That's what you need because you're like, I go, that's not what we're gonna talk about because I'm still not convinced that there's clarity here,
Right.
and that's what we do. That's what you and I are like, no, at least, I'm not happy when I don't feel as though something came from the call, even though it wasn't like just nothing came from it, but I didn't feel it was enough. You know what I mean? Not
We're
because there was no a sale, had nothing to do with that.
we're totally alike in that at the end of the call, we want some value added to that person's life. We want the quality of their life, this is to answer your question earlier, to improve because they had an interaction with us. It was truly potentially for them a golden moment that in a potential relationship that says, holy crap, this could be a turning point. This could be a crossroad, a change here for me that all of a sudden, wait, click, click, this different way to look at things that I didn't even know existed. And that's the whole thing about learning and courage and moving to the next stage is, well, wait a second, maybe what I'm doing isn't right. Maybe I should just like hold off. And if we don't get to help somebody with our superpowers, it's kind of like kryptonite in a way. It hurts. It kind of like, damn, I really,
Well, yeah, and we can feel it. Like, I know that both of us, we have that depth of seeing through the soul,
we're,
through the
we're,
soul,
we're
and
empaths.
seeing if
We're
there has been that kind of a transformation or of some kind. It's not that people are like going away happy and they're all totally fixed. It's not that. It's more of
no.
there was not enough depth here that I need them to get,
Yeah,
and that's important.
they didn't get what we wanted them to get. And that's just,
Yeah,
we know what we want them to get is totally going to benefit them. There's nothing, there's no underlying motive that there's going to be something in return. And again, we've talked about this, what I used to do. And what if you went out into your dream client universe and just served, period, for a period of time and said, you know what? I'm not even going to talk about my stuff. I don't even want, I just want to go help people with what uh, my friend Nick, I was on a call with him yesterday, and he said, Scott, if I don't put the flags in the ground for people who are coming behind me to follow, what kind of disservice am I doing to them? Well, I actually said, what gives you the right to deprive them of the opportunity of having those flags to follow when you can make their life easier? And when we go and make people's lives easier, it doesn't have to be because it comes that from just doing that,
yeah,
people, I shared a perfect Joey Ragona example. For 15 months, I have whittled down an original list of 1,800 people that I inherited from the old thing. And it's down to 399 contacts. I have gotten rid of so much, never responded, went to spam, bounced, unsubscribed, blah, blah, blah. And I thought that I had pretty much honed it down to those people who I've been sending emails out to that list for 15 months for different promotions, products, launches, trainings. This. On today's training, there were two people there I've never seen before. And I know because I run every call and do every email and know who my people are and my buyers and that and family and this and levels of stuff and who, what, blah, blah, blah. And this guy jumped on the call and he said, this is my first time. I have to run, but I want to know where to buy your different software. And came back on at the end and said, I got back this and that. I'm looking forward to the replay. I really would like to link to your different software. Somebody else in the group said, can you put a link up to all your software just to make
yeah.
sure I have them all? And that's a testament to what you say is somebody for 15 months was reading emails, was watching stuff that was on the list from a previous video creation Facebook group and email list that my business partner brought with him into the venture. And what it showed is what Joey says, when you're out doing what you're doing, even on your own list, that here's somebody that after 15 months decided, because he had apparently wanted to know how to use PowerPoint and was so excited about it that he wanted in, and now he wants, the software as well. And again, I don't remove people from that list just because they haven't done anything, unless they've unsubscribed or spammed or whatever. So, that I whittled down. And like I said, I know where it came from.
Yeah. Well, they came from watching you, like watching you just contribute. Yeah. And that's part of the club marketing, the club framework, right? The C is the first thing is the contribution. Yep. Like go in and contribute to the market. Leverage your superpowers by giving your unique process, being uniquely you, and then the right dream clients watch that and they know how you benefit them. That's the club framework right there.
Yeah.
How do I contribute? How do I leverage and lead with honesty and authenticity and authority? My superpowers with being uniquely who I am, sharing what I believe and stand for in my part of my unique process, so that it shows itself beneficial to the dream client.
I like it.
Would you say it's validating when people are willing to pay double the price on the second cohort? Of course it's validation. For sure.
Heck yeah. Okay.
For sure. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Wow, you're kicking butt. I love that.
Double it again on the next one.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep on doubling.
Keep on doubling until it doesn't work. Then you hit your price point.
Yeah, that's a tricky one, because then what would you do? If you doubled it and nobody buys, what do you do?
Double it again.
Yeah, like I don't know, like that's an area that I'm not really sure about yet. Is like, okay, if I do it here, you can't. In my mind, you can't go backwards. Like it's crazy. Like, oh, that didn't work, so here it is for this price again.
Nope.
And I've been there. I've been in there many times. I've done it so many times.
Don't go backwards. Nope.
But I don't know how to deal with that one yet.
Yeah, you do, Joey. You add more value and make it.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you're right. You just keep on adding more value.
Cool not to do it. Okay, come hang out on a private island with me for a weekend, and I'll teach you everything I know, only for an extra $250,000. Okay,
yeah, that's true.
Great.
Keep adding value. You're right.
Exactly. You taught me that. Well, I don't know.
What is it? I wanted to ask you. I forgot what it was. Anyway, okay. We'll end it here.
Once again, this show has broadcast live on many social media platforms, where this evening we talked about why courses fail and what do we do. We went in a lot of different places in that. We're on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Did I miss one?
And another Facebook. So three Facebooks. Yeah, you pretty much got them all. Amazing.
Awesome, Joey. And again, I just want to say, Joey, that's something else is a lesson within a lesson of what we're talking about, is do something. And when I did my first time, I did 100 yoga classes in a row, and people wanted to know what the epiphany was. And it was simple. I knew I could do something as long as I committed to do it and finish it. And then when I did 608 the following time, it was just when you start to do things, it goes back to Julia Cameron, The Artist Way, and developing muscle memory. All the things that you and I do, we talked about this before the call, are developing the muscle memory of going deeper into what we do and why we do it and how we do it, and the continual process of. what you and I learn from each other and share with each other that just morphs and manifests and osmosizes. It's just insane. And then into mastermind groups and life purpose groups and things, just encouraging all of our heart-centered family to not do this alone.
Yeah.
You are part of the group and the family and the tribe and the club, but there's also the need to find the golden moments and the golden relationships that bring you joy, happiness, and bliss that make life worth living, because it's like, holy crap, Tuesday nights you get to hang out with Joe, we get to talk about marketing, we get to have fun, we get to beat each other up, we get to do whatever it is we do, and we get to help people and share and talk about things that we're just taking from so many different places, that we've had the fortune to tap into those intellectual assets. And if we don't take them and give them away, then shame on us.
Yeah, and you're right. That's the whole idea of that whole purpose, is
Yeah.
figuring out. I don't, when we talk about purpose, and we can maybe have another call about this, but we're blessed to find our purpose.
Mm,
Not a lot of people do, and even in our world, even in entrepreneurial world and heart-centered world, I know a lot of people who still are trying to find the purpose.
yeah.
And I'm when I see that struggle, and they're amazing people, they're like us, they're like, but they just still haven't found it yet. And that's when I realized how blessed I really am to know what the purpose is,
Yeah.
you know, and then stepping into that purpose, because that's part of the uniqueness of, at least for me. And I know where how stubborn I get in, and how assertive I am, because it's part of the purpose. It's not about me trying to sell something. The purpose is to stop entrepreneurs from sacrificing their lives. That's it. And I see it over and over and over again in different contexts. And so it triggers the purpose. It triggers me to be that coach, or to be the guy to push back, or whatever it is. And sometimes it gets me in trouble, but I really don't give a crap,
Yeah.
because that's part of my purpose. And it's like, look, I cannot stand people being in a struggle, and I know what the solution is, right? Like, I can't stand it. It just burns me up inside. And so that purpose comes out all the time. And on the other side of it, if you look at, that's why I'm not really good with stressful situations. You ask my wife or anybody, that's why I don't have stress in my life. It's like not part of what I do, because I can't handle it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm totally a different person, and it's just not who I cannot handle it, right? But in this other situation, I see a stressful entrepreneur going on, and I know how to fix it. I think that, let me go back to that. The reason I can't handle stressful situations, like my wife giving birth or something like that, I can't do anything about it. There's nothing I can do to fix it. And it,
Mhm.
and it really, I cannot handle that. Does that make sense? Whereas
Yeah.
the other ones, these other stressful situations, I see them and I can fix them, and it brings the purpose out. I'm like, God damn, just if they just listen. But I know at the same time, it's going to be on their timeline. It's all good. But that purpose is like driving force behind
Yeah.
what we do.
Oh, it is. And I've shared with you that I've been doing a life purpose call every single week for probably 70 weeks, probably a few months short of when, after we started this, I started that. And on the call yesterday, he said, if 100 people came into this program today, what were the three things you would tell them? And again, something else that was not planned ever. And I just went off, and for 21 minutes, we had a conversation like we did. And I said, there's the sales copy if we ever want to turn this into a course. And it was basically, when you commit to your life purpose, or the journey or discovery of your life purpose, and you start to focus on it every week, or with your brain starts to learn what that purpose is and what you have to do to get closer to it, that then trains your brain. Your mind then trains the brain to say, okay, I need to be doing these things, like showing up every Tuesday night to do this cool thing we love to do, or showing up at this. And all of a sudden, it's like the brain is the muscle memory thing of the artist way. I know that every Monday at this, and Tuesday at this, and Wednesday at this is going to happen. And the brain doesn't have to think about it. The mind doesn't have to, because it's starting to get programmed in. And when you're in the the depths of those relationships with the sole focus of everybody on that, everything that starts to combine there helps you grow at an exponential level, because by our own, with our own thoughts, it ain't going to happen. We need to be in masterminds. We need to be in coaching programs. We need to find people who we can follow, who we believe in, who we trust, that have integrity and authority, and are going to take us to a place that we feel safe on that dream island.
Yeah. And all of that, if you take all of what Scott just said and put that into the idea behind who's the person that this course that you have can help, that is another huge part of it, because that dream audience, alpha audience, whatever you want to call it, has to believe in themselves, in you, in the course, in their destination, all that kind of stuff. And the more you speak to that one alpha at a time, it's going to be a lot easier for them to look at the course and say, that's for me.
Here's an interesting piece to add to what you just said. I'll often say to people, if I had your dream audience in front of me and you only had 5 minutes to talk to them and you could never see them again and they would never see you again, what would you say to them that would impact their life so that they would beg and clamor to? Now, goes back to, if you could only sell your program to one person, period, and then you could never sell it again. One person. And you, kind of like in the movies or in folklore, where you could only choose one person to bestow this amazing blessing or gift or treasure upon, who would that one person be that you could go and say, I can help you and envelop you with what I know and be the dream client on the dream island? To those that are like, oh, everybody. Well, I'm only going to let you one person. Forget about money. It's just the one person that you would help today. If you could only help one more person, and then whoever your maker, existence, whatever, it was taking you back because they got better things or they need your help.
Yeah, I love that. That exercise that it actually brings up a, I was telling you about the person who had like a whole bunch of stuff going on, and there was, I think it was like, let's call it three. There was three main buckets or niches or whatever you want to call it, and I love doing that. I do a little bit more graphical, so I say, if I had a gun to your head, like you had to pick one, right? So they get a gun to your head, like, which one are you going to choose? And they choose it. I'm like, okay, that's great. So then why don't you go do that? And then they'll give me an excuse. I go, well, then that one's off the table now. Now you're left with two. Out of those two, which one are you going to pick, right? And it's so fast how they can eliminate all of the everyone thing or the maybes. Well, I can do this, and as soon as I hear but, that one's gone. There's no but. That can't be a but. We're talking about a but. Here, that's the problem. Who's the easiest person that you can do this with right now in your audience that you say you have connection to? Which one? Because we all look at opportunities like if this, if this, if this, if this. Well, what is the least amount of ifs in the life? That's the one you want to focus on. Okay. That's the one, not all these other ones, because these ones have more money or it's a bigger audience or whatever it is. That's great. We'll do them all later. But right now, if you want to fix your problem, then go with the least amount of ifs. I got to write that down. Least amount of ifs.
The least amount of ifs. I like that. The least amount of ifs. Another Joeyism. Holly says, the change I have gone through since being with you here, focusing, gaining clarity, has been noticed by others. And people have reached out to ask how. And one of those people is my precious daughter.
Oh, nice.
Today, I sent out your information. People are always watching. Love and soul hugs.
Wow, that is nice. Thank you for that. That is so nice to see.
That's what it's all about, my friend.
Thank you for creating the tribe and the space to connect with and learn from each other. Thank you for being part of the tribe. Thank you for watching us on every Tuesday or random Tuesdays, whatever you can show up. It's all good. Live, hashtag live. Well, we're over now, but hashtag replay if you're watching the replay by now. Thank you for giving us all the love and support. Thank you for all the hearts and likes and all the other stuff. And if you'd like to share it with your community, like Collie just did, thank you so much for that. It's appreciated. We love you. We will see you again next Tuesday for number 95.